Black women, your hesitation is not intuition. You're not second guessing yourself. You're overriding what your spirit is telling you need to do. Something became crystal clear for you. You felt it immediately in your bones. And then instead of moving with what you felt, you paused. There are two key moments within this pattern. The first moment is when you have that gut level clarity. The second moment is when you slowly begin to override that knowing. It takes you back to the same expectations, the same roles, the same insurmountable pressure. So instead of moving forward, you reset the cycle. Black women, your hesitation is not intuition. You're not second guessing yourself. You're overriding what your spirit is telling you need to do. And that pause right when something becomes clear isn't random. We've been conditioned to respond that way. And if you don't see this clearly, you'll keep defaulting back into the same patterns, the same roles, the same constant pressure. And you'll keep doing that no matter how much you know better. And I need you to stay with me because I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in the moment that you override that gut feeling. And I'm going to tell you why it keeps your life in the same place. If you've ever had a moment where something became crystal clear for you, where something made so much sense that you felt it immediately in your bones, and then instead of moving with what you felt, you paused. And many of you already know what I'm talking about. You thought about it longer, you ran it through the group chat, you made sure it was right, and by the time you were ready, the moment passed you by. And this is where most of us miss it, so hang in there with me. Because a lot of you are very perceptive beings. You see patterns, you think ahead, you understand what's happening in real time. So that's not the issue. The issue is when it comes time to move, you think of every way it could go wrong and you become debilitated. Black women don't hesitate randomly. We've learned to move this way. We've learned to assess everything, to calculate outcomes, to make sure that it's safe before we act. Because the cost of being wrong has never been neutral for us. So your nervous system learns, pause first, move later. So this isn't a confidence problem. This is a structured pattern. It's a learned response that pulls you back into what's familiar, even when it's no longer working. And in a second, I'm going to show you how that one pattern keeps your entire life in the same position without you even realizing it. So here's what's actually happening. There are two key moments within this pattern. The first moment is when you have that gut level clarity. You see clearly where you need to be. The second moment is when you slowly begin to override that knowing. You check it, you question it, you compare it against all the information that surrounds you, and then you start to slow down. And in that space, you disconnect from the clarity you previously had. So now you're not moving from alignment, you're moving from analysis. And this next part is what changes everything, so please don't lose me here. Because that pause doesn't just delay you, it redirects you. It redirects you back into what you already know, back into what feels familiar. It takes you back into the same exact pattern that you've been trying to change. And the way that you've been living, the experience that you already know, it's not neutral. Going back doesn't come without consequence. And this is the exact structure that you've been operating inside of. It takes you back to the same expectations, the same roles, the same insurmountable pressure. So instead of moving forward, you reset the cycle. And you don't do this because you're confused. You do this because you hesitated beyond the window of opportunity. And over time, that makes your decisions predictable. You have a moment of clarity, you hesitate, and then that hesitation leads to the same outcome. And predictable patterns are easy to work around. This level of predictability makes one easy to manipulate, easy to think ahead of, and easy to keep exactly where you want. So instead of shifting your life where you know it needs to be, it stabilizes around the exact circumstances you want to transcend. And once you see this next part, you won't be able to unsee it. Every time you override your clarity, you reinforce the same reality. You stay inside the same cycles, you stay under the same amount of pressure, and you keep managing your life instead of actually moving it forward. And the part that matters most is that you stay far longer than you actually had to. You never root into those moments of clarity long enough to actually build something different for yourself. So now the question isn't, why am I stuck? It's, where am I overriding my intuition in real time? And if this is resonating with you and you see this happening in your life, you need to be inside of the live session that I'm hosting this month, because this is exactly the type of pattern I'll be breaking down in real time. Not after the fact, not in theory, in the moment. So make sure to save your seat. I'll have the link below in the description, and there will be no replays. So make sure you get in the room. But don't look away just yet, because this is where it gets clear. You don't need more clarity. You are already an incredibly insightful individual. What you need is to stop overriding it, because right now there's a gap between what you see and the way you move. And that gap is what's keeping your life looping in the same cycle. You're not just second guessing. You're defaulting back into what you're trying to leave, back into what's familiar, back into what's keeping everything running, but nothing changing. So now you have a choice. You either recognize that moment and move differently, or keep reinforcing the same pattern. So if you're ready to stop defaulting back into what you know you need to leave and actually shift how you move, you need to be in that room. So register and save your seat. And there's nothing standing in your way, because this event is completely free. So if you're a Black woman who is done overriding your intuition and you're ready to move with clarity, subscribe to the channel, because this space is designed to help you see clearly and move accordingly. Black women first.